3 years ago, you might remember we had Les Wright and Danny Smith in to talk about Danny's injuries sustained in the aftermath of what went on in Paris, and how he wanted to make a few changes and be supported with what was going to go on next with his life. Now, what we didn't have at that point was an idea of what it was that Danny was going to go on and do. And it transpires, for the last couple of years, Danny, you've been training to become a physiotherapist.
Psychotherapist.
Psychotherapist?
Yeah. I'm 2 years into it now. It's been amazing. I had a bit of psychotherapy after Paris, and it also dealt with issues I had about Hillsborough. From the Hillsborough Survivors Alliance, they provided psychotherapy.
An unbelievable organisation.
Amazing. And on the back of Paris, you know, as bad as it was and everything else, a lot of people come forward to get therapy because of Hillsborough. That was triggered in Paris. So, you know, we're grateful for that. But the HSA have put a lot of people through therapy since, and I was one of them.
And so as part of that, you thought, firstly, you'd want to give back to that profession, possibly give back to the community as well as part of all this, and you've been retraining to become a psychotherapist.
Yeah, so I'm 2 years into it now, Neil. It's been amazing. It's the modality in training is transaction analysis. It's a psychoanalytic modality. It's absolutely amazing. I feel about TA the way I felt about Liverpool as a teenager. I absolutely love it. And so I've got a sense of purpose back now. I've got this sense of wanting to give back to everyone. And I think this is the best way to do it now, because I'm very limited physically now with my leg. I'm in constant pain. But yeah, the last 2 years have been amazing. I found a purpose and I'm going right, go and go.
And what that purpose comes as well from the first place from the community support that you received last time. And as part of that, you know, when you're saying that you feel like a teenager about it, you got that sort of enthusiasm. That's because the community came together and gave you the support.
Yeah, I would have went under, Neil. There's been days I wanted to just stay in bed and feel sorry for myself and be a bit of a victim, but you know the wave of support that I've had since Paris is, I let myself down, but I'm not going to let everyone else down, and it wasn't an option. So yeah, I'm just loving the course. I'm 2 years into it now. I've just been passed fit to practice, so I've got another year's training. But in the meantime, I've got to do 100 hours placements, unpaid work, and I just found a place in suicide intervention charity. So I'm really excited to be starting there next month.
Les, you were part of led the campaign to support Danny in the aftermath of Paris. You know, he looks like a different person coming in here today. You must have seen this sort of progression in him as he's found this calling at this time.
It's just been, you know, we each have our own journey, but Danny's was a bit tougher than most. And so I said to Danny, there's 4 stages of this process. You know, first of all, you've got to get the rehabilitation, which fortunately we had a bit of help with LFC, and that physio was most important to get his physical well-being back together, and that affects your mental health. And then there was the case of, okay, what do we want to do here? And he said, I want to go into train to be involved in mental health. So how do we do that? Because it's going to cost money. You've got residential courses, you've got books to buy, you've got travel. You know, it's quite an expensive thing. So, you know, you guys helped out with the PR last time, and the other media groups in the city have all continued to help. But the long shot of it was, we held the event at Anfield, and we raised enough money at a big event to cover Danny's first 2 years of costs. And now, obviously, we're not going to leave him hanging here. So the idea was to revisit on a smaller scale, because we need to finance the 1 year to get him over the line. And you know, Danny will tell you about maybe some of his plans to give back to the community. And this is kind of like what I'm saying about before, the steps to progress. So step 4 would be getting a job and giving back. So you want to?
Yeah. So at the minute, I'm facilitating a group in the Rotunda College, my local community. We're in from Kirkdale Men's Shed group to that, and also helping out to the food bank and social brokers. So this is part of going forward. I'm training TA, the modality is really good in groups as well. I'm really good with trauma, and I'm really passionate about men's health. You know, we could be better about speaking about our health. You know, I was brought up by strong women, so I've got that in me, but we need to be better as men. And the group work going forward, that's what I'm really passionate about. So yeah, I've got a ton of ideas moving forward about men's groups. I mean, it's particularly lads at the match, you know, lads in work and things like that. Yeah, so going forward, that's what I'd like to do.
You know, just by sheer coincidence, we were at the Goals, the location of the five-a-side, the game later on, and a guy that we both knew who had death by suicide, who was roughly our age, and one of the chit-chats went on, maybe, you know, this time next year, Danny said, I might be able to come back and actually host like a session for men's mental health at a five-a-side football location. I thought that's already the thought process of paying back is already there.
Yeah.
And so the next sort of stage of this then obviously is we're going to at goals in Netherton. You run on the 6th of June. There's going to be a big five-a-side tournament that you're running.
Yep.
You're looking for people to participate. You're looking for sponsors as well as.
Yeah. So what we've done is we've got 16 teams. We've got the whole thing. So if people have got kids that want to come along and play on one of the, pitch number 9, they can. So we've got 16 teams, 10 in the squad. We'd like to get some ladies involved if we can. That'd be great. And 2 knockout competitions.
Yep.
So you've got like a Champions League and a
Europa League.
Yeah, Europa League. Yeah.
That's not Europa League. Come on.
So we got that sort of going on, and the idea really is just to get teams both locally to support within Liverpool and 6th, but also if supporters clubs or Liverpool fans would like to become engaged and maybe host their own local, whether it could be in Adelaide, it could be in Hong Kong, whatever it might be, host their own charitable five-a-side competition. That money will all go to Danny. And what's so beautiful about this whole idea is the local charity called In Our For Others are acting as the due diligence. So it's going through a charity. There's no expense other than the pitch, which was paid for today. There are no other expenses. So all the costs with no admin will go to Danny via a registered charity, so we know we've got this compliance as well. And
In Our For Others is itself a fantastic organisation as well, Les. It's one that I know that you and Danny have been close to, Dan, years we have as well. Kevin and all the work that goes on there is exceptional.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, we're doing things that are almost like collaboratively. We help them and they help us and this, that, and that, and this. It was just a beautiful gesture. And I said, if you need any expenses, we could. And they were, not at all, because they're friends with Danny. But you have to ask the question, you know what I mean?
Of course you do. So the key question, Les, is, where do people get involved? What's the best web address? What's the place to find us all on social media? What's the best way people can get stuck in?
Right. So what we've done is we've had a brochure published with all the details, which we shared via social media. We've got email addresses to contact mine. If you're a company or you're a sponsor and you want to get involved and join in, it's ambassadorleswright@gmail.com. Mm-hmm. And Danny is stand up for Danny Smith 26@gmail.com. So they're the main 2 ways, but we want to provide information about the event as well. So there's a little bit of narrative there, and so we're asking the people to share this widely because we want to make a success. We want to get Danny over the line, and that's the most important thing to do.
Excellent stuff. So it is on June the 6th.
Yeah.
When people around the world on June the 6th, it'll be a laugh, wouldn't it? People playing footy here on June the 6th.
Imagine that, yeah.
Well, it's at the end of the season before the World Cup starts.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we chose that date.
And hopefully it'll be a lovely day.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like today, it was lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. It is the business. Listen, the community coming together in so many different ways, and then people giving back as well in the aftermath is the big part of all of this. Thank you very much to Danny. Thank you very much to Les for coming in. Get involved if you can.
Thank you.
Thank you.